everyone, thank you for joining me for Warm Up Wednesday. I'd like to take you through a nice warm up that I like to do with my bar classes. So what I usually have them do is stand in a nice first position. I start to talk about the different positions during the warm up that I will be asking them to do. So I'll explain first position. I'll ask them to zip up their inner thighs and squeeze their glutes as we spread and lift the toes and reach them out, squeeze the floor. So I ask them to look down maybe at their toes, spread their toes as wide as they can, and then squeeze and grip the floor with their toes, warming up the feet, and then kind of start to roll through the toes, roll through the feet. As they're doing that, I can have them roll their shoulders back and roll their shoulders forward for just a few. From there, I like to ask them to internally and externally rotate their toes. So I ask their toes to come together and then apart. And during this, I ask them to feel the rotation from their hips, externally rotating. And sometimes I'll add the arms, reaching forward and back, squeezing the inner thighs together. Start maybe bringing in, drawing in the abdominals, talking about the transverse abdominis, part of our Pilates language we use in bar. Internal, external rotation, 2 more, and then I'll have them lift and lower. So finding our releve, lifting and lowering those heels, perfect, and then maybe even lifting the toes at the bottom. Right here I like to talk about not jutting the ankles forward as they lift, just focusing on lifting the heels up instead of out to the side, and then keeping the body nice and light. Maybe talking about arm positions if that's what you do in class. Again, we're turning to the abdominals, making sure those are on. Last one, then I'll have them step out into a nice wide position, and I call it the second position, and I start to describe that. Starting with a nice plie, finding a position as they go down, they can always reset. They should not see their knees go over those toes. Maybe lining up straight with the ankles, because majority of the time we see people stand like this, right? They start to get too narrow. So I ask them to widen it out if they see that happening. And then I ask them to pull their knees back behind them, trying to track their knees over their pinky toes, which won't happen, but it'll help them engage their glutes much more. Practicing that plie, hands can go on the hips. Sometimes I'll reach hands overhead, makes it a little more challenging. Straight down and up. And it also encourages them to reach their spine up to the ceiling as well instead of leaning forward. Last one, I have them lower their hips down. We lift one heel at a time. Again, focusing on keeping the hips down and not jutting the ankle forward, lifting the heel, focusing the lift on the heel. Perfect. And then tell them to keep their shoulders nice and even. And then maybe we practice bending the knees, coming up, and adding a releve at the top. And they might notice to get a little bit of wobbly, trying to activate that nervous system now, getting ready for some balance that we'll see in class. Lowering and lifting, good. From there, I take it from a plie to a first position, or second position to first position, and maybe I go side to side like this, or maybe I start in the center and I go side to side from there. So there are a lot of options you can do with those two. And again, I like to involve the arms sometimes, taking it out and in and out and in and out and in, lowering and lifting, lowering and lifting, and then taking it into maybe rotating toward the side wall, lifting the back leg, finding a nice low lunge. I pull the elbows back and then make it a nice roll through the front of the body. And I help them understand that they're extending and lengthening their back heel, lifting and reaching that heel back. This is my next kind of move in the warm-up. From there, I ask them to take their hands down for like a lunge, maybe find a plank position, knees can come down. This is where the mat can be nice and helpful, because they can bring the knees down. And then either they move back, lifting the hips up, moving to the shoulders, or they lift the hips up, drop the heels. So we lift and forward, lift and forward. Maybe we add a leg, come down, a leg, come down. Then we take it to the other side, we lift and we lower, we lift. Sometimes I'll even take them back, hold them here, and lower and lift the leg. Again, bringing in the options. They can always be here, trying to keep those knees square, down and up, Last few, maybe we switch legs here. I bring them forward, ask them to lunge with the other leg. So now we're in that nice deep lunge, we're opening up the hips. And then from there, if the other leg is forward, we make sure that other leg is forward, we go straight into the other side of the pull and the reach. Pull, reach. What I like about this movement is it encourages people to eccentrically contract their calf muscle, which we don't do very often, and we do a lot of that in bar. So it's a nice warm up for the ankle. From there, I like to take them into another wide plie stance and just ask them to kind of get the faster twitch muscle fibers working. We always advertise in our bar classes that it is a low impact class. So I want to be careful to make sure that my moves are low impact. So sometimes I'll ask them to sway their arms. Sway, 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 sway. Maybe you sway, sway, up and over. Sway, sway, up and over. So you can give a little bit of choreography here, but it's not jumpy. And I always tell people if I'm moving too fast for them, I like moving to the beat of the music, they can always slow it down. I already felt my heart rate come up. One last thing I want to show you guys is I also like to bring up the heart rate. Really low impact move here is to bring one leg back, find a nice deep lunge, pull one leg forward, just touch the toes, and then reach back, touch, reach, touch, reach, touch, reach. Then pick up the pace. Reach, touch, reach, touch, reach, touch, reach, touch. I ask them to get nice and low. I ask them to also make sure their back is nice and flat and strong. 4, 3, 2, whoo. Take it to the other side. Find that lunge. Pull the leg in and out. Start nice and slow. So you're always practicing layering the different exercises in our warm-up too. And then maybe we pick up the pace. Pull, 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 pull. And my heart rate's definitely getting up. For 4, 3, 2, and then we are warm. From there, I tend to take them either into arms or the bar. They're plenty warm to get into the work, and we have a lot of fun in bar class. Let me know if you guys have any questions in the comments, and I look forward to hearing what you guys think of that warm-up. Thank you so much.